Okay, so they always want me to start with the street rhymes for you guys. Pay attention to details, solve a mystery, investigate the clues, look back at history. Find evidence to solve it, help strengthen your case, take time to be thorough. It's not a race. Sounds like something I would say about not being fast. Okay, let's really listen to the words, think about the meaning again. Here's your street rhyme one more time. Pay attention to detail, solve a mystery, investigate the clues, look back at history, find evidence to solve it, help strengthen your case, take time to be thorough. It's not a race. Okay, so this concept, as we read this, is this whole unit's been about puzzles and mysteries. But this week we're going to read and talk about how paying attention to details can help us solve a problem. So the question of the week for us . Question of the week. Your turn. Question of the week. How can paying attention to, you may remember, details help solve a problem? That's our question of the week that we're going to look at. So as we look at page 140, you guys can see that it says, let's talk about it. Your turn.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, are you guys pumped up to talk about it because of the fun way we said it? Yeah, okay, one more time. Let's talk about it. My turn. Let's talk about it. Your turn.
Let's talk about it.
Great, you guys, not right there. You're just supposed to participate. Okay, it says describe an inquiry you would like to conduct of something puzzling. Like, a good example might be an inquiry that I have is, how did the lights get turned off in the girls' bathroom area? Not in the bathroom, mind you, in the area. And we did kind of an inquiry on that. I think I have a pretty good idea. But then I also said I don't. So ask questions about how to go about the inquiry. So sometimes it's really hard to know what the inquiry actually is. You might have to ask yourself questions like, what do I understand? What part of this don't I really understand? Where do I need to look? These are things that can help you when you have a problem. For example, I think I maybe mentioned to you guys that in a couple of weeks here, I'm going to get a new puppy, right? And it makes me think back to, because it's been almost 9 years since I've trained a puppy when I got my first dog. And it's making me think back to, okay, what were some of the things that I did? I have some inquiries about training puppies. So I have a couple different books that I can look in and look back to, but I'm asking myself, okay, what do I remember doing? What don't I remember doing? How did I teach this to a dog, right? So sometimes you have to actually ask yourself, what are the things that I do know? What are the things I don't know? Where do I need to look to find these things? Make sense? Okay, so if you look at the third bullet, this is the third bullet under inquiry. It says, maintain when describing the inquiry. So if I were asking someone a question, or like when you guys are asking me a question, sometimes it's not necessarily eye contact, but this is something you guys like to do on your daily comps. This isn't a daily comp, but you guys will come up to me and you go, Mr. Roth, I don't get number 7. And you'll point, you go like this. You point at it, you go, I don't get number 7. Then you flip it over. And I'm like, I don't even know what number 7 said. And then you have to turn it back over. So it might be actually maintaining where you're looking. Hey, I don't get this part. But if I don't get to read the question, can I really help you? No. Another thing you could do is formulate your question before you come up and say something like, hey, Mr. Ralph, number 7 is asking me, where did this happen or what happened when? And I'm not sure what that answer is, so that I know what the question is. Because if you say number 7 could say anything, right? You guys understand what I'm telling you? So having all the information ready really is helpful. Okay, this picture that we're looking at, look at page 140 and 141. And it says, this is a picture of a student council election. Theirs is fancy. The students are running to become part of their school administration. How might they solve problems? How would a student council solve problems? With your partner, look, lean, listen, lower your volume. Go ahead.
Yeah, they could solve a problem by asking
Okay, coming back in 3, 2, 1. How are they going to solve problems, Ava? Have people have their classes vote? Yep, that could be a way. Mackenzie, something else?
Maybe they could have like each grade vote.
Okay, that's kind of the same as Ava's. Every grade, every person vote. Anybody, anything different? Braylon, do you have any idea? Anything ideas?
No.
Okay, so what they have listed in the book, I think you guys had some good ideas too, is they have by bringing the students' opinions and problems to the administration. So they could make, you guys don't have to write this, we're just making this map up here, make problems. No, you have to know what the problem is, right? Before you can solve them. Okay, what are some problems that student councils might have to solve? What are some problems that student councils might have to solve? Go ahead and share. You've got about 30 seconds. Look, when you listen, lower your volume. Okay, coming back in 3, 2, 1. Chase, what's some problems that a student council might have to solve? Yeah, that's a real life one that's happened today in here. If there's internet problems, maybe connectivity issues. Rajan, how about you? Okay, choosing what to do on certain like special days, like spring fling weeks coming up. Very good, very good. Anybody else something? Braxton?
Like what we do raising money for tax.
Okay, fixing or trying to help people within our community. Yep, very good. Macy? Couldn't hear you.
Maybe they could help. You ran out of kids lunch, or maybe they could help.
Okay, that I doubt they're gonna let you in the kitchen, but it's a good idea. It would be a good thing to help with. Okay, we'll take one more. Maddie.
Maybe if like some of the classrooms the same weren't working, so they could try to reduce
So that's like if there's something was damaged or broken. Very good. Those are all good things. Okay, so now look at the picture of the 2 boys. See the boys with the magnifying glass?
Yeah.
Okay, why would they need to solve a problem? What are they, or Why would they need to solve a problem? That's a weird question. Why are they using that magnifying glass maybe? What are they looking for? Look, lean, listen, lower your volume. I don't like the way they phrase that. That made me sound like I don't know what I'm saying. What are they looking for? Okay, coming back in 3, 2, 1. Braxton, what do you think they're looking for? Okay, they could be looking at ants, but if they're trying to solve something, what could they be looking for? Elizabeth.
Their pet centipede.
Okay, that's maybe not solving, that's looking for a thing. If they're trying to solve a problem though, think about like cartoons. What do they use a magnifying glass to find in cartoons? Gavin. Okay, what are those things when you're trying to solve something? Wonder isn't back with us because of me, my fault. Blake's not here. Macy.
Oh, they're finding clues.
That's what I'm looking for. You also need clues. You gotta have clues. So you gotta know the problem. Then look for clues. Very good. Okay, now look at the girl doing the puzzle. Now, this one's going to be tricky. When you're doing a puzzle and looking at those pieces, what do you have to really pay attention to be able to pick the right piece? I'm looking for a single kind of word here. Let's look, lean, listen, lower volume. Go ahead. I hear a lot of good things like shape. What else would you need to look at? Shape and
Size.
okay, size might be important. Colors. What are shape, size, color, all of those things? What? Probably shouldn't blurt out things. Okay, the word is
Detail.
very good. You also need to pay attention to the details because those are important. All right, let's give this page a turn to 142, 143. When we're looking at this today, we're going to try and identify. Look, it says character and oh, I should probably scroll ahead on here, huh? Yeah, let's go 2-page view. Okay, so we're going to be looking at character and plot. There it is. We're looking at character and plot. Character is person or animal who takes part in this story. You can learn about a character through the character's words and thoughts. You can also learn about a character through the author's description of the character's relationship. So, when you watch television, when you watch television, you can learn a lot about a character because the way they act and the way that they talk, and you can hear their voice and see the way they act, right? But in a book, you can't see that. So you have to learn through how the author describes them and their relationship with other characters. Does that make sense? Okay. So I want you to turn to someone near you. Explain what character is. Person with the lowest number, explain what character is to the person with the higher number. Be ready to share. Look, lean, listen, lower your volume. Everyone's going back in, so anybody could get picked here. What is character? Or what is a character, Elizabeth?
Like, it's like a noun because in some big books, there's like crayons hopping around.
You're right, it is gonna be a person, place, or thing, probably more likely than not. But I was going off of like what we just learned. Summarize what that is. Chase, what is a character?
A person like a
So it's a person or animal that takes place in a story. It could be weather, it could be, it could be a building, but generally it's something, if it's something like that, it's something personified, right? Personified means takes on the characteristics of a person. The next bullet point, touch the next bullet, it says a plot. Right here. A plot is the series of sequence related events in a story. The plot includes the
conflict
or
problem.
what's conflict? Conflict is
Problem.
the rising action. That means when you think about the rising action, that's thinking about first you figure out what the problem is, and then it's that part in the story where you're just not sitting, your stomach's kind of like, I don't know what's going to happen. And you go, oh boy, I don't know how they're going to get out of this one. Right? That's the rising action. The climax, that's when everything kind of reaches its fever point, like the big battle scene, or when people fight, or like right before everything gets fixed. And the resolution or the, okay, resolution means, and that's when everything gets wrapped up. You get an ending. Okay, this time, the person with the higher number shares to the person with the lower numbers. Talk about the series of sequenced events. What are the sequence of events in a story? Go ahead.
The story of a plot, and it goes from normal to the problem, and then it goes to a rising action, make it worse and worse, and then it gets to its top point, and then
Okay, explain sequence of events to me. Autumn. Excellent. In those order generally. Okay, they do have a comprehension strategy here. Before we go and read, oh no, we're going to read about monitor and clarify. Then I'm going to give you a couple of second break to get up and get your wiggles out. When you're reading, it is important for you to
Monitor.
when you understand something and when you don't. If you are confused, stop and reread the section aloud. Looking back and rereading is one way to clarify or adjust your understanding. Asking an interpretive
Question.
of text is another way. An interpretive question is answered by using
Information.
in the text to figure out the answer on your own. Okay, this happens to me a lot when I'm reading like things that are school related. Like again, when I was doing my college classes, I bet Miss Solis has probably experienced this too. You're reading along and you're supposed to be reading about, I don't know, some form of leadership or style of leadership. But then you start thinking, oh, you got to go to the grocery store after school. What do I need to buy at the grocery store? Oh, I know there was something that I realized I needed when I was getting ready for school after, like I showered in the morning or something, like a bathroom thing that we were running low on too. I need to get, what was that? And all of a sudden I've read about 3/4 of a page and I go, I have no idea what I just read. You got to realize when that happens, because when that happens, it's your job to monitor if you understand it or not. I can't be in your brains to be like, oh, Rajan, you weren't paying attention for the last paragraph. You better go back and read. You have to be the one that does that, right? Because being able to do that is a very valuable skill. If you don't realize it, you could read a whole chapter and not have any idea get nothing out of it, right? So if you find yourself doing that when you're reading your daily comp, oh, I wonder what we're going to be doing in music today, or oh, I hope we're playing games in a certain game in Phi Ed, you might have to go back and reread. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to pause the recording for about 2 minutes. Then you guys are going to resume recording. Yay, okay, we're looking at oh no, and we're going to try and identify the problem, the rising action, the climax, and the resolution. Here we go. You should be following along. I'll read. If I don't say the word, if I pause, that means you say the word. Yeah, we. Here we go. Catherine was very
Excited.
when she learned that both she and her friend Shelley had gotten parts in the
Play.
she had always wanted to act. Mr. Kiley, the director, explained that it was
Important.
for everyone to attend each.
Rehearsal.
Okay. What do you think? We haven't gotten this far yet. What do you think Catherine's problem is going to be? This is also a reading skill. This is predicting. What predicting does as a reader, I don't want any of your answers. I just want you to predict because you may be wrong. I do this a lot. It drives my fiance insane when I do this. She likes to watch mystery shows, like crime shows. And we'll be watching that show and I'm always trying to think, what are they going to what's the clue? What's going on? What happened? And then sometimes I just can't contain myself. I don't blurt it out, but I might go, oh. And she goes, what? And I go, you don't want me to say it, it'll ruin it. And then she goes, well, now you have to tell me. And then I tell her and then she gets mad at me. But what I'm doing is I'm predicting. What it does is it helps to keep you engaged in the reading. Yes? You understand what I mean by that? Because if you can get your mind working like that, I wonder there's got to be a problem. What's the problem going to be? Then you're going to want to read on to find the problem. Yes? Okay. On day 4 of rehearsals, Catherine felt feverish. That night, her fever was high, and the next day, she stayed in bed. The doctor told Catherine that she would probably miss a week of school. Oh no, I can't miss that
Much.
she cried. I'll be
Place.
in the class play. What's the problem? Okay, look, lean, listen, lower your volume.
Mackenzie, just leave your chair.
She's absolutely right. There's no reason to carry your stool over here. 100% correct. So you're still trying to carry your stool. I don't feel like you got the message I was trying to say. Just walk over. You could also meet her in the middle. Fix this issue. You have 3 seconds to fix it. You could get up and meet her. That would help too. Okay, I hope that I don't draw either of your sticks. Braylon, what's the problem that we have here? Or the conflict?
That she can't go to school because she doesn't feel well.
Okay, so
And she'll miss her play part.
he is ill and can't go to school. Very good. All right. That evening, Catherine heard the
Telephone.
several minutes later, her mother came into her bedroom. That was Mr. Kiley on the telephone. Up here, I've missed the strategy part. Why does Catherine think Mr. Kiley will replace her in the play? Look, clean, listen, lower your volume.
Because at the beginning of the story, it said you have to be at rehearsals every single day at rehearsals. And so she thinks she's not going to be at rehearsals for a week. She'll get replaced.
Okay, so I think that we've probably got a little bit of rising action going on here. What is the rising action going on here, Braxton? Remember, the rising action builds towards like what's going to be the major conflict or like the major turning point in all of this.
Well, since she's sick, at the start of the thing, he said it's better than what everyone's going to tell me, and she's gonna miss. She might miss a bunch of them.
You can't miss rehearsals. And she's missing how long?
A week.
1 week. That's part of the rising action. What also might happen? What else is part of the rising action here? Maddie, she might
She might
get
get replaced.
replaced. I'd be really worried about that too. Very good. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, now let's come back to this. That evening, Catherine heard the telephone ring. Several minutes later, her mother came into her bedroom. That was Mr. Kiley on the telephone, she said. That's her mom saying that. He called to tell me I've been replaced, no doubt, Catherine moaned, suddenly feeling worse. Okay. That right there is your what?
The climax.
That's the climax. Because it's like the whole problem has reached its final point, right? So the climax is Mr. Kiley calls Catherine's mom. I'm going to put because I want to write this. All right. Everything after this point is the. Now, sometimes we think resolution, guys, listen. Sometimes we think resolution and we think it's got to be a positive resolution. You know, the world or the person is saved and or the medicine gets there just in time and everyone's happy and lives happily ever after, right? It can either be a positive resolution or it can be a negative resolution, right? So in this case, the positive resolution would be she gets to stay in the play. But it could also be that Mr. Kiley called and he did say, hey, you're not going to be in it, so we got to kick you out, right? You guys understand that? Because like I said, I think sometimes the idea of resolution to kids is, hey, we got a happy ending. Sometimes it can be, it's still a resolution, it's an ending, but it might not be the ending we want, right? Okay. No, her mother said her. He asked if Shelley could visit you after each
Rehearsal.
to keep you informed. Then you'll be able to catch up when you get back next week. Oh, yes, Catherine screamed excitedly and jumped up. Hey, laughed her.
Mother.
Do you want your fever to go down? Okay, so what was the resolution? Talk with a friend. What's our resolution? Look, lean, listen, lower your volume.
The resolution was that she still has the play, but her friend Shelly is going to inform her about after every
She
rehearsal.
still gets to stay in the play, and her friend is gonna keep her informed about the.
Roger, what's our resolution? Shelley will visit Catherine. You could have picked a smaller name. each day to keep her informed. Okay, you guys see how to identify these? Okay, sometimes the biggest struggle that I think kids have in this, listen, because you're gonna have to do this on your own in a minute, or at least with very little scaffolding. Sometimes I think the problem that kids have with this is that they're able to identify what the problem is. And then they read, before you know it, you're to the climax. Or you're figuring out the resolution. Remember, the climax is everything. When you hit the resolution, the climax is what happened right before it usually. It's that, oh no, like if you stopped, if I were reading you a book and I closed the book, which I've done to you several times, and I just leave you and you go, oh, what's gonna happen next? I've gotten you that climax. It's the rising action is everything that happened between the problem and that moment. Does that make sense? You know, in Where the Red Fern Grows, which we haven't read in a while. In novels, you have a lot of this. The problem was, where we're at right now, the dogs ran that raccoon up the giant sycamore tree, right? And it's the biggest tree in all of the bottoms. That's the problem, yes? And Billy promised them that he would cut it down. So here's some rising action for you. Billy starts chopping away at this thing, and then he falls asleep and doesn't go home. Ma and Pa are worried. Pa comes and asks to help. He won't let him help. This is all part of the rising action. Now, we haven't gotten to this part yet, but eventually Billy's going to run out of energy. And he's going to say, I can't do any more. That's the climax. The tree hasn't fallen down, but he can't do any more cutting. Then there's going to be a resolution to it. Does that make sense? That's paraphrasing, obviously. I'm not giving you everything. You guys understand what's going on here? Okay, so here comes your sheet. People at home, this is page 291. Page 291. Name, number, and date at the top. Even if you're at home, name, number, and date at the top, please. 291. Name, number, and date at the top. Hey, I see you're getting a little play right now. You need to get wiggles out, get your name, number, and date out on there, and then get up and get some wiggles out while you're ready. Name, number, and date, 291. You're welcome. Name, number, name, numero, and date. You have name and number, but no date. That's weird. I thought I said name, number, and date. 3/15/21. Okay, then don't do it. Make good choices. Hey, who needs more time to get this up there? Okay, I got yours up on the board right now. And it tells you about what character and plot and all that stuff is again. But the directions say to read the following passage and create a plot chart, then answer the questions. So here we go. We're looking for the problem. When you think you have the problem, I don't want you to go, or, oh, there's the problem. but I do want you to raise your hand so that I know that some of you are seeing the problem. Touch the first word. Becky is the first word, so I know you're ready to follow along. Touch the first word. I should see everyone's finger touching Becky. Becky burst into the kitchen. Quick, there's a UFO, she shouted. We hurried.
Outside.
Where? I asked Becky, pointed up. I saw nothing and was not convinced. Anybody find the problem yet?
Nope.
Okay. I saw nothing and was not convinced. Really, she insisted. I saw this bright, tiny light speed past. Whoosh, and it was gone. Becky's claim was both silly and exciting. Okay, talk with your partner. What is the conflict?
That the guy doesn't believe that Becky saw a UFO.
Okay, what was the conflict, Parker?
That Becky thinks she saw a UFO.
Okay, that's part of it. So part one is that Becky thinks she saw a UFO. And there's a second part. Because that's not a conflict in of itself. Oh, I see a UFO. Is there a conflict there yet?
Nope.
There's no conflict. That's just a statement. I see a UFO. I guess in Becky's case it would be, I saw a UFO. Is that a conflict? No, a conflict is a problem. So what's the problem that Becky has? Becky says she saw a UFO. What's the problem, Ava? Let's call him the narrator, him or her. And the narrator either didn't see it or doesn't believe her. You can have something somewhat different than mine, can't you? Does yours have to say exactly what mine says?
No.
No. Okay, now we're looking for the rising action. Again, this might be the hardest thing to actually find. Touch the first word of the second column, deciding. Touch the first word of the second paragraph, or second, I guess it is the second paragraph. Second column though. Deciding to
Investigate.
I went online to research the night sky where we live. One web page had a recent video clip of a meteor shower. We watched it together. Okay. What part of that is the rising action? What part of that is the rising action? Abby.
We decided to investigate and watch the clip of the meteor.
Okay, well, let's separate those two. One is probably the, and one is probably the climax. So which part would be the rising action? Macy. Okay. They what? Investigated where? Online. What were they investigating? The sky in You guys aren't trying very hard right now. The sky where,
We live.
I guess, Ian, I was gonna say in their area, it's the sky
Where
where
they live.
they live. See if you can figure out what the climax is. We've only gone this far. The climax is there. Remember the climax, a lot of times kids think right here, that's the UFO. Now I'm sure you guys have read ahead, right? Sometimes kids think that's the climax. No, that's actually the resolution. You can't, the resolution is the what fixes the problem or the argument. The climax is right before they find out. So what would the climax be here? Braden, what would the climax be then?
That they watched the clip of the movie.
Okay. The climax is, he's right, they watched a clip of a,
Meteor.
okay, get that on there. Who needs more time to do the resolution or to do the climax rather? Okay, so now they watch this clip of the meteor shower. In your own words, tell me what the resolution was. And before we do that, this part is, this part right here is Oyo. What's Oyo? On your own. So maybe below resolution, you want to put an OYO for me? Braden, I know you might have stuff in your teeth, but let's floss after the video, okay? I know you don't really have something in there. But I appreciate that you just admitted you were playing. But I was trying to be nice and like say, oh, it's not good, without actually saying you were playing. In your own words, tell me what the resolution was. Now let's flip it over and look at contractions. Ooh.
Mr. Roth, what about question 5?
Oh. Yeah, just write first person or third person. That can be on your own. That can be review. Good question. Do number 5, do 4 and 5, then flip it over. Contractions will be easy, I hope. Oh. Then you should be on the contractions page.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, found it. Nice. Sure, just do your own. These aren't that big of a deal. Just want to make sure we're doing our own work. All right, hopefully everybody's on to that next side now. We got contractions. A contraction, everyone, a contraction is a shortened form of two words. An apostrophe takes the place of one or more letters. Some contractions are formed from a pronoun and a verb. Here are some examples. I am, I'm, she will, she'll, he is or has, he's, you will. You guys see that here we're taking out the WI and putting a parentheses there, or an apostrophe rather than a parenthesis. Here, he is, we take out the S, he apostrophe S. Contractions are actually really easy when you think about what the word should be and what you're taking out. Now, others are a combination of a verb and the word not. Is not. Is and apostrophe T. We took out the has not. Has and apostrophe T. So really, it's just, usually it's just taking the word and then writing NT, but don't forget your apostrophe, right? Okay, so now down here. Oh, did I miss some up there? I don't think I missed any. No, I got it all. Number one here. The directions say choose the correct contraction in the parentheses to complete each sentence and the right contraction. Here's how I would do it. I see some of us working right now, which is, okay, I admire your enthusiasm, but I really want you guys to take your time here and read these. So like, here's how I would do the first one. This is the tricky word right here. She'll
Read
all the Encyclopedia Brown stories later. Or she's, oh, that doesn't make any sense. She's read. She's
read all the Encyclopedia Brown stories.
she'll read all the Encyclopedia Brown stories later, or she's read all the Encyclopedia Brown stories later. One of those doesn't make sense. Read means you've already done it. So if she's read all the Encyclopedia Brown stories later, you would, in order to make that sentence work, we'd have to have a time machine to know that she's read them, right? So the correct one here would be she'll. And then I'd write it over here. Everyone understand? Questions, comments, or concerns?
No.
When you're done, this gets handed into the language bin, and then I will get you a spelling page. I'm going to pause the recording so that in an effort to save some time while you guys have work time. Zoom recording, spelling test tomorrow. We're looking at 295. Oh, you guys don't have it. I should probably hand it out. I probably shouldn't have unpaused the recording yet. They should hire me a director that's in charge of all of this. Name, number, and date on the one side that actually has a worksheet on it. I'll take that
Why
side.
can't I do the back? The
If you are on the, if you do work on the back, you lose points automatically.
I have to write on
Hey,
it.
what are we doing?
I don't think you're gonna have to.
Did you name
What if I
everybody?
have to? I don't think you're gonna. I said, what if I have to? I said, what if I have to?
Okay, this week's words are prefixes. You guys have these words, right? I gave them to you early.
Yes.
Yeah, I gave them to you. Spelling test is tomorrow. The prefixes are un, dis, and in. So really, like, if it were me looking at studying these for tomorrow, I would just really work on the word. Distrust. If I can spell trust, I can spell, yeah, all I have to do is add dis. I just need to know how to spell the prefix. Un, un, dis, or in. That's easy. The words are what you're gonna have to remember. Now, the prefixes un, dis, and in mean the opposite of them. So if I have distrust, it means that I don't trust. Or if I discontinue those actions, it means I stop those actions. Open, if I open a can, if there's a can that's open, unopened means
I didn't know.
that it's not open. If I have ability, it means if you have the ability to do something, it means you
Alright,
can.
do it.
If you have inability, it means that you,
Cannot do it.
yeah, there you go. You guys get this? Okay, so in the first 9 here, it says add prefixes. Write the list word that can replace the underlying word. Look, this one says solve. Or not solved would be,
So.
I just gave you number 1. If you spell them wrong, are they wrong?
Yes.
Okay, I think these first 9 are really, really easy because they're giving you the spelling word, right? And you just have to find the word up here that has that base word. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Down here, you're looking for synonyms. If something is not suspicious, boy, I wonder which one could be not suspicious. There's a word that has something like suspicious in it. That could help. You may not know what ignorant means. Ignorant means, I want to make sure I don't give you the word. Okay. If I'm ignorant of something, it means that I don't know. So like if there's a fight on the playground, or you guys have arguments on the playground and no one comes and tells me about it, I'm ignorant to that argument. Does that make sense? A mess. You guys know what a mess is. You guys know what rudeness is, right?
Yeah.
A roundabout. A roundabout means like around. I don't know how to really give you that one, I guess. Maybe do the rest of them, come back to that one. Unjust. What unjust means not fair. Well, that kind of gives it away, I guess. Insignificant, not important. Not in working order, that means that it's broken. If you get money off, sometimes you go to a store and something might not be full price, that's what they mean there. Turn down, that might be like if someone comes up to me and says, hey, you want to go to the movies later? And I say, nope, I turned you down. A lack of skill means I don't want to give that one away. It means that I don't want to give it away. We'll get that. Questions, comments, or concerns? This one is probably one of the easier ones that you've had to do. All right, get to work on it. People on the Zoom meeting. You guys there?